Hey guys, Matt Flanagan here from Blue Hub. We've been helping many businesses over the last 7 years implement their ERP or IMS systems across the globe, sometimes fixing them up and project rescue, or sometimes looking at them further down the line. Um, and I think people hope that there's a magic formula. So I just want to give some of the key components that we feel really ensure that an implementation has got every chance of success. I'm just going to go through these 3 or 4 areas. It won't be a huge video, probably 4 or 5 minutes. The one thing to note before we step into this is nowadays it's highly unlikely that it's going to be one system that you're implementing in sort of this supply chain world. There's a growing ecosystem around e-commerce, ERP, IMS, fulfillment, and accounting. So if you think of the Shopify ecosystem, the Zero ecosystem, that some of the IMSs now and the ERPs have got their own ecosystem. So it's really important to think that this might not be one system. It's actually going to be your platform for supply chain. That's something to bear in mind as you're going through that, okay? So people hope the magic formula is the system. So they've got these frustrations or this need to change, or there's a requirement that the current system or setup doesn't fulfill that they need to be fulfilled. And people think, I'm going to get this system and it's going to be great. And that's going to be the answer to all our problems. We're going to switch it on and great, it's going to work. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. All the system will actually do is just really enable the existing processes to be done and procedures, and that could, whether they're good or bad. And I'm sure there's some good processes. I'm sure there's some processes you'd love to improve. So just thinking that the system will fix all of these problems is highly unlikely. Most of these systems now in this world really can work with a lot of your processes if they're understood, and can also work to new processes if you know what they want them to be. So this sort of magic sprinkling doesn't really appear, and it's sort of short-lived, and we get this frustration. So we're finding businesses who've implemented, they've got the system in, there's lots of frustration either around the workflows, the processes, the data, the integrations between the systems. So let's just delve into the areas that you really need to bear in mind as you're running through this. So in a triangle, we have the system, which is a great start, but it's nothing on its own. The second part now is people. Now, there's 2 parts to that. And what we mean by this is, firstly, we need a team within the business that is willing to receive and accept a new way of working, i.e. a new system and new processes, new procedures. If that isn't there, if that team isn't willing to take on the new system, process and procedures, it will fail. Not because the system is good, bad, or indifferent, just because people don't want it to work. And if you don't want something to work, it won't work. So one of the key things is you have to think about, are the team up for this change? Have you got the right team members in place? And also, some of these team members will need to lead the adoption of this new platform too. So that's the first part. That's the first element of people when we're talking about they are a component of what we need. We also need some people who can lead us into this new world. So that can be internal or external resource, but some element of system implementation, change management experience is needed. So I think this is a key area. We're finding lots of businesses maybe are trying this without that type of internal and external experience. And that's difficult. And then toyed with maybe a team that doesn't actually want to do it, and then no leaders within that team who want to do it. That can also lead to a real deficiency in the people involved in the project. So that's something to bear in mind. And again, if you're thinking that the magic sprinkle is going to be the system's going to fix all this, if the people are also of that opinion, they're involved in the project, then that's going to be really tough to bring that round. And then the final part here is processes. So we have process. So again, what do we mean by this? So the first thing is we're going to have a new system. We're going to have people working to that. So we've got processes that we need to work out how they're going to work with the new system. They'll need to be reviewed, need to be re-engineered to work with a new system. So we know what we're going to be working with as go forward. We can't expect the system to understand what the processes are. And also we can't expect the people just to adhere to the process the system gives us, because that might not be fit for purpose either. So we do need to be thinking about what those processes are, those internal processes, your supply chain processes. How are they going to work when you have the new system? We also need a process of actually transition to the new system. So this is a framework, a process that you're going to follow of implementation. So that's things like, what's the process for the system setup, the system integrations, the testing of the system, the user training, the go live prep, the go live actual activities, the post go live activities. Without that process, we will just be switching to a new system with hope and lots of assumptions as to how things will work, and assuming things can be really, really destructive to the onboarding and the confidence of a new system. So the magic formula is, quite simply, system, people, process. If we get a good system in place, if we get people who are willing to take the change and willing to adopt the change and lead the change, and then we also have people who can actually take us through that change and have experience of system implementation and change management, that's going to be a real win. And then process. How are our processes going to be affected by the implementation of this new system? And also, what's the process to take us through this system transition and process transition? So those are your three things: system, process, people, in a different order than I originally wrote that down. So just a little bit about us to finish up. We help e-commerce, wholesalers, distributors, manufacturers, anyone who makes products or sells products to optimize and digitize their operational systems using the latest technologies, the latest ecosystems. So if you're interested in that type of assistance or would like to know more, please reach out. It'd be great to have a call or a chat with you. Catch you soon. Cheers now. Bye.